Trojan Felly, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, there's a couple things on the table that we want to deal with today, and that is, of course, you guys know it. You've seen it in the thumbnail there. Jae'Keem Stewart, big time number one player in the 2026 class, number one defensive tackle, defensive lineman, who was said to be possibly reclassifying pretty soon here. You guys know we talked about that a couple of months ago, and we talked about the fact that he's very high on Eric Henderson, and so I kind of want to deal with that, and then I want to deal with Julian Lewis, and then there's a thought that came back up in my mind that with this Elite 11, it kind of came back in my mind yesterday when I watched the Elite 11 and I saw who got the MVP. We're going to talk about that because it's dealing with recruiting, it's dealing with some local recruiting, and I think it needs to be addressed. So, but real quick, Jae'Keem Stewart, you guys know he was there yesterday at USC. Eric Henderson working him real good. I think he's one step closer to really securing this deal as far as reclassifying, number one, and number two, making that commitment. The way Eric Henderson was working with him. You guys know we talked about him having a relationship with Eric Henderson, the development aspect, and the relationships build a whole nother aspect of it. Relationships turn into development, and development turns into a better player and a better man. So that is Jae'Keem Stewart. But here's what he said as it relates to him being there. One of the reasons why he was there, he talked about Julian Lewis. Check this out and listen to this real quick.
Just looking forward to building more. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Jakeem Stewart out here in California at Elite 11, checking out my dog. Julian Lewis, my QB1. He did good today. Just looking forward to building more relationship with coaches. Fight on. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Jakeem Stewart out here in California at Elite 11, checking out my.
All right, so he's there to get that dog work, number one, but then he's there as well to support Julian Lewis. So, like I told you guys before, I feel like Julian Lewis is the glue that's going to keep this class together. He's the main man with the master plan. And Julian Lewis, speaking to him, he did look good. We'll take a look at some of his highlights here from yesterday in the Elite 11. He was throwing to you guys know Tron Baker, who's already committed to USC. He threw to him a couple times, and that's already building some chemistry there as well. But you see here Julian Lewis going through his progressions, going through his all of his reads, and you see his throws there. But the competition as a whole, there was a real competition going on with all the elite. They call me Elite 11 for a reason. And Julian Lewis was out there competing. And you guys know he's really supposed to be in the 2026 class, but he reclassified, and I believe Jae'Keem Stewart is going to do the same thing. However, we'll take a look at what happened yesterday in the Elite 11. I have some information on that. Let's take a look at this real quick. Let's see if I pull it up here. All right, so here is the Elite 11, and let me just pause that for a second. The Elite 11, you see it here. This is the day one performers. Let me go to the top, though. This is the guy right here who got the MVP. And really, this is kind of what I want to talk about, because to me, in my opinion, it's mind-boggling. Now, I brought this up to somebody a couple of months ago, and I asked him, I said, I believe it was Brandon Jones from Light the Torch podcast. I believe it was him. He could confirm that, but and a couple of other people as well. But he's one that you guys may know that I actually brought it up to. But I said, man, B Jones, why is it that USC hasn't really gone after this guy right here, Hassan Longstreet? And the reason I'm saying that is because, listen, he committed to Texas A&M, and I really, prior to him committing to Texas A&M, I briefly heard of him coming on campus early in the morning, like at 5 o'clock in the morning, to visit one of our practices, spring practices. But prior to that, we really hadn't heard anything about him. But I remember before that, watching some film on him, and I could not understand. He's a 4-star quarterback out of the state of California. You guys know he goes to Centennial, and it was just mind-boggling as to why USC wasn't recruiting him. And you see here, and I'm not saying they weren't all the way recruiting him, but I hadn't seen any offers. I hadn't seen any major contact. I hadn't seen anything that would suggest that USC was going after him hard. And listen, for those who are coming on, those who are listening, don't take this the wrong way. Don't twist my words. I noticed that a lot of people like to twist my words. Don't twist them. I'm just making reference to a local guy because at the end of the day, you guys know I'm a big Julian Lewis guy, big time Julian Lewis guy. And as I stated, he will be the glue that's going to keep this class together. However, on the flip side, I got to keep it 100 about a local guy that I've yet to really hear anything about as it relates to USC ties or USC recruiting. I have not heard that, and I could not understand it. I've seen him play, and I understood, like from a physical standpoint, the guy has all the tools. He's a true dual threat. I mean, from a physical stature, I mean, he has a muscular frame. And he's a incredible quarterback. And you see here yesterday, he got the MVP of the whole Elite 11. Now it's the first day. They rate these guys based on different type of drills, different type of things that they put them through. But this guy, he got it, and I knew it. I told B. Jones, I said, man, look, I said Hassan Longstreet, that guy can ball, and he can confirm that I told him that, and I just couldn't understand it. So you see here's the actual day one top performers. You know, it's only 11 out there. So you see here, it's going to be, as I stated, Hassan Longstreet is going to be the number one guy. And let me put it up here. You guys can see it on your screen there. It's a little small on that for me, but Hassan Longstreet. And so then you have Tavion St. Clair, which is committed to Ohio State. Hassan Longstreet committed to Texas A&M. Then you got Keelan Russell committed to Alabama. And then you see there Deuce Knight committed to Notre Dame. And then you have Tremel Jones committed to Florida State. And then you have Jerron, I hope I say this name right, Sagapalutidi. He's a 3-star. He's not committed anywhere. I know I butchered that name. Forgive me for that. Then you have Luke Nickel committed to Miami. Then you have Bryce Baker committed to North Carolina. Then you have Matt Zollers committed to Missouri. And then you see Julian Lewis came in yesterday at he's the only 5-star on here, by the way, came on here at number 10 yesterday in his performance yesterday. And then you see Alex Mansky, Iowa State. He's a 3-star guy, came in at number 11. So Julian has an opportunity today to redeem himself from his performance. And, these are all top performers. So it's going to be, some razor thin as far as the judging is concerned. I mean, the throws have to be super accurate, super on point. But I think it speaks to who Longstreet is as a quarterback. And I think that's kind of eye-opening. In my opinion, it opened my eyes up but I already knew it because, as I stated before, I mentioned this several times to some other people. And I just couldn't understand it. I was just on a show. It's called Turf Talk. And those guys, as a matter of fact, it's Gary Bryant Jr., his father. And they are all those guys. They deal with Centennial. Gary Bryant went to Centennial, and so I kind of time for time we talk about different players or whatever. I was on this show, and Drake Jackson, that's his father, has that show with Gary Bryant's father as well, and another guy. But I was on this show, and all those guys, they deal with a lot of players from Centennial, and so I've been kind of knowing about this kid for a while now. And so, man, you guys can drop those comments. You guys can tell me what you think. That's all I got for you guys, man. You guys hit me in the comments. You guys tell me what you think. It's USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. I'm out of here. Until later on, everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.